Hi, Soul Friends. Welcome to Soulflower Soulgarden Podcast. Soulflower is a sacred service organization located in Tennessee of the United States. We thank you for tuning in to our channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, as well as follow us on our other social platforms so that you can be up to date on our content. Also, hit the notification bell so that you can receive our content as soon as we post it. All right. Quickly getting into our disclaimers. This is not a formal podcast. The presentation is intended for adults 18 and over. We do not own the images and music of the material that is presented. This is for learning purposes only. All right. I want to move right through our information today. So we're going to go ahead and just get started. The topic of the day is signs of awakening. This is the unbound existence version. This is my version, the version that I came up with. This term is copyrighted for me specifically because it is what was given to me, what was downloaded to me at the time that I was going through this particular type of awakening. It is uniquely mine. So I will be presenting the signs that I went through myself today in my own awakening to inspire other people that are going through their version of awakenings at this time. So, let's get into that, shall we? First, let's do a quick review about what unbound existence really is. A simple definition is what you see on the screen. Self-mastery through the practice of mastery learning within self-discovery through liberal education. All right? So, this is a path that you must consciously choose. It's a path of authenticity. And the way that I achieved what I call unbound existence is that I spent years practicing inner work, shadow work, and mirror work. The fuel of that work and those practices was through integrity. Without integrity, you don't reach self-mastery in this particular type of transformation, this particular type of awakening. All right? There are various types of awakening, so be mindful of the fact that I am describing the particular path that I chose to go through and what was the result of that. You have your own path. All right? I can only tell you about my experiences. And maybe maybe something in this presentation can resonate with you and inspire you on your own journey. At this time, there are opportunities for other people to awaken to themselves, to go through your own specific type of transformation and awakening. A lot of people, you know, they talk about you go through various stages of this ascension within these paths. So it's something. Well, this particular podcast in general is specifically targeted towards people that are genuinely dedicated and committed to spiritual or personal growth. So for anyone else, this might be pretty boring, um, due to the fact that this is so unique. But in all essence, basically what I did on my own path is that I went through, I looked at different spiritual practices, different therapeutic practices, anything that is associated with personal or spiritual growth that, I attracted, because there are infinite amounts of material out there. However, the material that affected me the most is, and what resonated with me the most is the path that I took, the practices that I took in order to achieve what I call and what was downloaded to me as unbound existence. All right? There are various versions of this throughout time and throughout, everywhere, all over the world. So it's another way of saying something that's already been available to the human collective. It's just that now, at this particular time, we are moving into an era where this is more available and it's going to become more known, more and more known. And more and more people are going to start taking this path. Well, their version of this path. My version is called Unbound Existence. So that is that on that. Is it all I wanted to say at this time? Oh yeah. Because I identify with being what we used to call a trailblazer. Now, a more modern term is the leading edge divergent. That is a person that masters themselves in order to become of service to others. So, this particular type of transformation is for that type of person or personality. And is also available to those that are divergents that particularly are more focused on leading edge deviance. Because you can't have one without the other. Can't have the light without the dark. So, now, I'm not saying that service to self oriented individuals or beings are what brings the ultimate balance to our collective as humans. I see them more as catalysts for the leading edge divergence to awaken to whatever it is that they have came here to do and contribute to humanity as far as human evolution. So that's that on that. Moving along. Here are the signs of what, those experiences. Well, here are the experiences basically of what I went through in my version of awakening, which is called unbound existence. I experienced sudden presence of signs, synchronicity. Wait a minute. Hold up. Before I go through that, let me say something else. Let me say this first. Unbound existence is about taking responsibility for your own spiritual path. And you are the one that is the sole teacher in your spiritual and personal growth and evolution. So that's what unbound existence is about. And it's a liberal education from being the student to the teacher. And not in, you don't have to teach, so to speak, in a way where I'm doing right now. Being an example is a form of teaching. And it's a very, very underrated form of teaching. So that's what you would, well, that's one of the signs that you are walking in your own awakening. And, well, it's one of my signs. And it can be extended to other people because it's just an experience, you know. It might resonate with you too. So, um, you can have mentors on this path. All right. The the line, the balance is that at the end of the day, you have the last word on who you are deciding to become. Okay? You're not going to be a carbon copy of somebody else. Or even follow a particular concept if you that they teach you if you don't want to. Now, well, you don't have to identify with it. So, for me, for instance, if you came to us, I would train you on how to do certain tools that are helpful to the specific type of path that you want to create for yourself. I would give you those suggestions and see where those suggestions take you. Because at the end of the day, you are the authority over your life. I can only influence you and coach you and encourage you. And I can give you various forms of constructive criticisms and corrections that you have the right to take or not. So that is the form of mentorship that I think is best for the collective at this time, especially since we're in the information age where people have access to infinite possibilities when it comes to their self-discovery and their personal growth and spirituality. We live in a time now where it's imperative, really, in my opinion, for you to create your own reality, so to speak, where it involves your personal development, your self development, and your self discovery. Let's see what else. Yeah. Okay. This note. That's what makes unbound existence and various forms of awakenings a form of straight and narrow path because it's authentic. It's personal to you. If there is no one like you on the planet and there hasn't been and nor will there ever will be, then so is everything about you and your path. So, yeah, no one has the authority to tell you anything about who you are without your permission. So, that's that on that. Another way of seeing my awakening, in my opinion, is it was my personal transformation from being an adult to becoming grown. I believe there's a difference between being an adult and being grown. Grown people do what they need to do in order to take responsibility for their lives An adult is something that you become due to our society's agreement on what the age you are for you to be exposed to any and everything that you want to be exposed to and you want to experience. So let's see. Let's go through these signs of awakening right quick because I really want to go through this as fast as possible. All right, so this is what I went through in my experience with my awakening. I had sudden presence of signs, synchronicities, and patterns. They started showing themselves to me, and it would be double and triple numbers. Something rarely single numbers, but mostly triple numbers in the beginning, then double numbers, and then they started going up from there. I started seeing 444, 222, 111. All of them. Don't get scared. I started seeing 666. I had to, even with that one, I had to teach myself about the number 666, which biblically is the number of man too. But vibrationally, these numbers, these signs of synchronicities are, well, they were for me universal messages from spirit about my particular path and what I needed to do. They were universal suggestions for me. But in order for that to occur, I had to do a lot of inner work, shadow work, and mirror work first. And I had to do that work without the, I'm looking for the word, without the encouragement of other people. And by other people, I mean people that I cared about, or even my mentors at the time, the people that taught me how to, that introduced these concepts to me, facilitated them to me. I had to learn how to practice those things on my own and not do the work because I wanted to have a certain image, but to do the work because I wanted to grow as a person and to grow my path. And I am aware that I have a specific purpose because I've done this work. And I personally believe that this type of work, it varies from lifetime to lifetime. I believe in reincarnation. But that's just me. You don't have to believe in that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to, if you believe in heaven and hell, that is cool. I believed in heaven and hell for years. And I understand why. It's cool. If you don't believe in hell, I understand that too. I went through that. I went through all of those experiences. So it is what it is. It's what you want it to be. You create your own reality. So whatever your reality for you is, what's your reality for you? Just don't try to project that on other people because they have a right to believe what they want to believe or know what they want to know or whatever. As long as they're not creating harm or imbalance to the human collective and to other people, our communities. So I went through that experience. I went through, the result is I'm having less resistance to the now moment. I've struggled with CTPSD and ADHD undiagnosed. And through my mindfulness and meditation practices, I've managed to remain in the moment way significantly more than I have in my past. So I'm grateful for that. I have invaluable inner peace. I have been um, grateful to experience what it is to have inner peace, period, and then to have it for an extended period of time. So, uh, unbound existence has given me that gift. The knowledge of who I really am, stable health and well-being, because you walk in integrity. You walk in your own truth. And all of it, not just the light aspects of it. You walk in the shadow aspects of it too. You put it in its place. Ability to embrace reality and self-validation. Um, you don't fake it till you make it anymore. You face it and you make it. Face it as you make it. So that's that on that. Give me just a second. My computer is doing something odd. I don't know why this is happening. I don't want any part of this. Y'all give me a minute. Try to figure this out here. Why is this happening? Okay. Alright. Boom. Alright. My bad, y'all. I don't remember what I was talking about, so I'm going to go back to... I think I was speaking something about face it as you make it instead of faking it until you make it. Faith is about facing it until you make it. Not faking it until you make it. Because faith without works is dead. So we have to align our thoughts, our heart, and our actions with what it is we're trying to achieve. And sometimes, well, usually we have to work through something on a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level when it comes to that. So, it's doable. I am a product of that achievement. So that's that on that. Here's some other. All right. You're not going to do. Okay, so here's some other signs. You develop discernment. That is seeing things as they are despite what you want them to be. That is the true meaning of it is what it is. And you're okay with whatever it is. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can get in your lifetime is discernment. And you can only get discernment through understanding. You can only get discernment through compassion as well, because you need compassion. You need understanding and compassion, and you need mindfulness in order to achieve discernment. Your intuition activates and it gets a boost. Attainment of detachment. You can detach when you can discern. All right? And you can't discern without facing whatever it is you need to face, or letting go of whatever you need to let go of. Increased ability to receive. I was one of those people that, I grew up in the church. So one of the sayings of the churches that I had the honor of attending was that God blesses a cheerful giver. God loves a cheerful giver. So you want to do whatever you can to be better. Well, in my perspective, I wanted to do whatever I could to be a better person and to be better for God at that time. So I added that to my social mask. I would do anything for the church, for the church community, and for leadership at that time. That's the way I was raised, and it is the way I was trained as a minister. However, we have to have a balance of giving and receiving. You can't be a blessing without being able to receive a blessing. Now, I have let go of the term blessing. I'm just saying blessing for the sake of understanding. I believe blessing is low vibrational. Saying blessing. And that's a numerical thing. You can look it up, you can research it on your own. Alright? But that's the way I'm rocking right now. But for the sake of this conversation, and for the sake of this conversation and being able to relate and relay some information here, that's what I added to my social mask at the time in order to not only just be a better person, but a better Christian at the time, a better everything. But it was unbalanced. So I have since had to do work to balance my giving with receiving. And I think the answer to that was the ability learning how to love myself. Because once I learned how to love myself as I love other people, then I was able to balance my giving and receiving. What else? And yeah, sensitivity to nature. I went from, I live in the South, but in Tennessee, if if you're driving and something get out on the road, then it shouldn't have been out on the road. You hit it, you go on with life, you kill it. That's pretty brutal, right? But that's the type of consciousness that I come from. And now I went from that to having 4 pets that have taught me a lot about myself and a lot about why it is imperative that we respect nature. So I also gained a sensitivity to nature because I grew up with a grandparent. I grew up with a grandparent from the what generation was that? One was from the silent generation, the other one was from the greatest generation. And they were the greatest generation was very connected to nature. And so I had the gift of a sensitivity to nature being imparted into me from that. Because my grandmother and I used to work in a huge garden in the summertime. And she taught me about how to start gardens and, different types of gardens. Fruit gardens, vegetable gardens, and regular flower gardens. So now that sensitivity has significantly increased, and now I promote only the maintaining and being responsible for the lives of other beings in nature, like us, because we're in nature. Just because we got apartments and houses and shit, don't mean we ain't still outside. We just got the illusion that we ain't outside. So, and we became very good at that over the ages. So there's that. And this is a double-edged sword. You become a mirror to others. People that know that you see them for who they are become mighty intimidated, and they project in many ways. People just can't stand your ass and don't know why, but they just know. There's something about you that's off. Subconsciously, you don't play the social game. You got one face, and that's the face that God gave you. And they don't like that. So I think that's how some of the leading edge divergence take on a bit of deviance with that. But I believe, and I would suggest that we balance that. And every now and then, you might have to allow your shadow to take care of that. Because that's what our shadow is for. To set boundaries. Not in our ego. That's what it's for. To protect us. So they'll see it as selfish and arrogant. See you as selfish and arrogant. All that who shot John. But because you have self-validation, you don't give a fuck. So that's something that I am watching. I am trying to filter out the cuss words in my presentations. So y'all bear with me. I'm letting you know that for accountability. So there's that on there. Let's move on because we're at 31 minutes. All right. So unbound existence is beautiful. It is. I love it here. It's a great place to be. However, you cannot do this without doing the work. You can't attain this shit. And you cannot attain this transformation without going through an ego death. All right? And the ego death is nothing to play with. Let me give you a definition of what ego death is. And that is I wrote down that it's the complete experiences where you dissolve, break apart, and end what you have always believed about yourself and your experiences. This is what Carl Jung calls the psychic death. We must let go of all the ways that we resist, which are, in other words, defend against, seeing how we are in the way of our true potential. In other words, we have to let go of the resistance of seeing ourselves exactly for who we are and who we have been, who we are, and who we're going to be as a result of the choices we're making in the now. Because our power is in the now. It's not in the past, and it's not in the future. It's in the now. The choices that you make right now are the choices that are shaping your reality to come. Now, we can do in order to make sure that we create the reality that we truly want is to reflect on our past and process it. Pick out all the silver linings and all the lessons out of the past so that it helps us naturally recreate ourselves and transform ourselves into who we know who we can be. You know who you can be. You know your potential. That's why you get so pissed off about when people misunderstand you. I'm talking to the leading edge diversion with that. So you have to go through the ego death, and it is not pretty, and it is not easy. And the truth is authentic, right? We have the old saying, you don't get the roses without the thorns, no mud, no lotus, all of that. Ego death is the mud. It's the rock bottom. And nowhere else. You know it, I know it, and everybody else know it. when you can transcend that, because that's the door one to Christ consciousness. It's death. Death, resurrection, ascension. So, and you can apply that to whatever culture you're in, because those concepts reverberate throughout most of the cultures on the planet. So just look up your version of it and glean from that and become who you know yourself to be. All right, that concludes our discussion for the signs of awakening. Let me get out our advice and our inner work questions that I've already pulled for the mastery reading, because I wanted to go faster, even than I actually have. I might just have to accept this. It's gonna be long, y'all. All right. So I pulled from the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and the message that we got for this season is all the magic you possess is based on your word, and you cast spells all the time with your opinions. You can either put a spell on someone with your word, which I don't suggest, or you can release someone from a spell. I do suggest that. If you gonna put any spells on anyone, do it on yourself. In other words, affirmations, mantras, quoting scripture, just talking. All of that is spells. That's where we get our word from. Spelling. All right, our next card is the self-love deck. It is it doesn't say who it is by, but it's called the self-love deck.
Sean, here's your reminder. Give the rabbits water.
My bad, y'all.
Sean, here's your reminder. Give the rabbits water.
You just gonna have to deal with it. We need those reminders. Alright. The next. Yeah, the question. Yeah, the self-love deck. I don't know who it's by, but it's called the self-love deck. I don't remember where I got this deck from, y'all. I'll do my best to put it in the description box below, but don't hold me to that because I ain't been doing it. Alright, so this is called Stand for Your Standards. That's the thing. Now, this is for single people and for people in relationships, because right now, we're supposed to be setting our intentions for what we want, according to the energetic reports. I'm not going to do energetic reports with the podcast anymore. I am feeling led to do them separately right now. So, if you want to look at the energy reports, you just go to our channel and look for them. In particular, I think that one of the best ones would be the first one I did for 2026. And right now, if you're going to look at this particular episode when we first upload this, it would be beneficial for you to look at the most recent energy report for the season, because I did an energy report for the year for 2026, the year of the fire horse. And I also have been doing them for each zodiac season that comes, to remind you about the different transits that we're moving through for the year, to assist you in becoming who you are. So it's like I'm doing a lot of the work I can't find words today. I am structuring the work for you to go out and do your own research about. and find out how it can resonate with you. But anyway, back to the self-love deck. What I pulled was for singles and people in relationships. What are the 5 dating standards you hold for yourself in your relationships? This is specifically for romantic relationships. You reflect on that. It's Mercury in retrograde right now. So that's a good question to ask yourself. What do you want? What do you need? And how you gonna communicate that to your partner? You know, I have an old. It's a basic communication protocol, and it is when you're communicating, you tell people your opinion, what you think, what you feel, and what you need in order for that to change. Now, we don't do that without considering the other person as well, because a relationship involves two, just like, you have your relationship with yourself, but typically when we're referring to relationships, we're talking about having a relationship with another being. So, what are the 5 dating standards you hold for yourself in your relationships? Everything begins with the self. The next deck is the Healing Energy Oracle by I don't have that either. No, yeah, I do. Mario Duguay. If I mispronounced his name, I apologize. This is a beautiful deck, y'all. Get it if it's what you're into. This one is about where we pulled is creation. I have the power to direct my life. With a constructive attitude, I create what is best for my soul. I firmly believe I can transform and improve my inner and outer worlds by turning every thought into affirmative action. I act in the image of God and bring light into my life, which is, it parallels with my experience with my awakening. So, beautiful card. If that resonates with you, then you have something that you can even turn into an affirmation or a mantra for the next 21 days. The next thing we looked at was our soul contract card deck. And this is a deck that was created by someone called Empath Soul. And I pulled 2 cards from this. The first one is Beyond Boundaries. That's the theme. Break free from limitations and embrace the limitless potential of your soul. Expand beyond boundaries and step into your true power. Goes right along with the podcast. Theme, limitless potential, expansion, and spiritual liberation. All unbound existence and awakening results. The next card says, trust the timing. Time is the universe's ally. Trust in its flow, and everything will fall into place. Patience, divine rhythm, and perfect timing are the themes of that card as well. So, mastery is about trusting in the timing of things. Mastery, the key is, when mastery learning is, you have to stay mindful and be aware of your end goal, and that you're the star player of your experience. And you have to consistently take responsibility for that, day by day, hour by hour, second by second. And, that's the con of it when all of us want to be comfortable and want to be in control and want to know what's going on. But guess what? Life doesn't work that way. I don't like it either. However, I've learned how to see the value of it. And become aware that it's natural. And your cycles are natural. Alright, the next card comes from a deck called Empowering Questions. And this is created by Santa Wickstrom. My apologies if I mispronounced that name. The question, this will be an inner word question. Where am I going and why? Goes right along. That's a good first inner word question right there. Good Mercury and retro question. Where am I going and why? You pair that with the standards. That self-love deck question. What are the 5 dating standards you hold yourself to in relationships? Where am I going and why? Direction. Self-direction. That's what that's about. And I pulled another card. What is my gift to the world? Goes right along with unbound existence. You can't discover that until you do the work. Do all the work that you need to do in order to process what has occurred in your life so that you can uncover that gift. All right, the next cards and the last cards, which is 3 cards, come from our Future Higher Self Oracle deck, and this is by Sishui. My apologies if I mispronounced that name as well. This is an awesome deck. The first card says, continue to make the most of every open door. We know that opportunities are coming due to the transits that we have recently had at the end of June. And, this is the year of the fire horse too. So, the great reset. So, all of this is falling in line with everything that I've been talking about, not only in just this podcast, but all year. And the energy, which includes the energy reports. Here's something to be mindful of, especially when it comes to going through an ego death or an awakening. Sometimes the best things are created from chaos. That is very true. Going through the ego death is what you would call a blessing in disguise. Okay? Because you learn so much about yourself when everything's been stripped away from you. When you take that mask off, when that mask collapses, or you go through some type of collapse or mental health crisis, or whatever it may be for you, but it's going to be shitty now. It's going to be a shit storm, whatever. Whatever it is the fun is not in it. That's all I gotta say. Now, if somebody else has an ego death that is more entertaining than mine, then let me know. The last card is be patient. Trust the wait. Everything is coming together. So that was encouraging. I will be looking over these myself and focusing on those aspects as Mercury continues to retrograde. But as far as this presentation is over, I just wanted to remind you of our available services here. My apologies for the presentation being the slides overlapping with the words. I didn't notice that, and I'm going on with life. So we have a program with Soulflower called the New Tomorrow Collective. It's a 3-month program where we train you how to do inner work and shadow work and mirror work. Yeah. We train you how to do those things. You get access to a mastery reading. I forgot to put that on there. I do mastery readings as well. That's not tarot. It's more of a channeling where we look at different energetic transits that are available to you, and also I do pull cards. If I'm led to, I'll pull tarot cards, but it's not a tarot reading. If you're scared of tarot reading, which a lot of people are due to the stigma that's been placed around it over the years, a lot of our tools have been demonized. But nevertheless, I don't have to do anything that makes you uncomfortable. Uh, you can pick what you want as far as what you want in your mastery reading. I can do that. I'm straight out intuitive if you want me to. But I will pull some cards. They might not be. They might not even be oracle cards. It might be other cards. There are infinite ways to do the same thing. So, we do wedding officiations. It's the summer. A lot of people like summer weddings. Summer in on this part of the world. I can only marry you in the United States. So, if you're anywhere in the United States and you want us to officiate your wedding, we can do that as we are ordained ministers. We don't discriminate as long as you're not creating harm, right? If it's a mature relationship, we can do it. We don't believe in pedophilia, so we believe that's creating harm. Matter of fact, we know it's creating harm. I don't know who you're gonna get to marry to do that, but it ain't us. So that's not us. We gotta draw the line somewhere. Customized meditation. We have a meditation teacher here, Sean. She can customize meditations for you or a group. And you can have different practices. Meditation isn't just sitting still in a chair or on the floor in lotus position. There are other ways to do it. Other ways you can do it that works for you. And if meditation isn't your cup of tea, we have other energetic practices that will help you even if you don't believe in them. So we have those available. Of course, shadow mastery, we train you with that. And mirror work, I mentioned that before, I think. And I can do customized energy reports for you as well. But the mastery reading would include an energy report. Yeah, I think, well, if you want to do an energy report that's predicated on a specific time frame, then yes, get an energy report. Otherwise, I would get a mastery report because it would already include the energy report. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, these are available services. This is our anniversary month, so stay tuned, and we will be posting probably on our anniversary date for Soul Flower. We've been in business since 2019, so that's 7 years. Been in business for 7 years. Oh wow. It's a good number, 7 too. We will be posting something. You might could read win a free book or something. I know that in a couple of days, Sean's book will be released, her new book. And let me get the name of it again. I knew it was something. I keep forgetting. But the book is about healing your inner voice. And she also has a Facebook page called Meditating with Sean Cross. Okay? And on that, it debuts her new book that is going to come out in 2 days. July 5th. I lost it, y'all. My bad. I did lose it. It's about healing your inner voice, though. Hold up. Meditating with Sean Cross. I don't know how I lost it. All right, here we go. Meditating with Sean Cross. No, that ain't it, y'all. I mean, it's called Your Voice, Your Healing, and it debuts July 7th, 2026. So that's not 3 days. That's 4 days from now. That'll be available on Amazon only, I think. And of course, you could get my book, Unbound Existence, The Call to Inner Mastery. It's on Amazon, Balboa Press, who published it for me. Thanks to them. And I'm on Ingram Spark as well. I want to say I'm on Barnes and Nobles as well. But if you want to get it quickly, and of course, Amazon is a top publisher. And yeah, that goes into more detail about what I talked about in the podcast today. It's actually just I took one section and taught out of the book, so you would benefit from that. I do have an idea if you purchase the book this month, since it's an anniversary, I might give you a free resource for my book. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let me write that down. Write that down right quick. All right, y'all. Okay. Yeah. Thank y'all for helping me brainstorm right quick. Thank you also for listening to our Soulgarden podcast. This is episode 4 of our self-referral series. Yeah. Self-referral series. I shouldn't. It's alright. Self-referral series. Thank you for listening. Alright. We're on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So you can go follow us over there. And that'll help you stay. Facebook mostly will help you stay updated on what we're going to do as far as anything. That's where we post mostly it. But there is content on TikTok and Instagram. Very little on Instagram, but more so on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, Soulflower444. Also, what else is some of my last minute stuff? Oh, our next podcast may potentially have a guest, so stay tuned for that. This podcast is sponsored by Smart Beautiful Granola. And let me pull up. There's a new advertisement for that, so I wanna pull it up right quick for y'all. Okay, so Smart Beautiful Granola is our sponsor, one of our sponsors. And this month is coming out with a new flavor, granola flavor. And you can go, well, no, not really. I'm just going to read the advertisement because I don't think it's open for the public yet. So you're getting some special treatment here. Now, this advertisement reads as follows. Experience the spirit of Independence Day We're in the United States, y'all, so Independence Day is coming up. With our newest and most premium blend yet, Ken's Cashew Star Spangled Crunch. This July, we're bringing together slow-baked, buttery cashews with the dusting of superfood blueberry, acai, and pomegranate powders, and the tart burst of sun-dried seasonal berries. Finished with the decadent Ghirardelli white chocolate chips and the aromatic warmth of pure Madagascar vanilla. It is a patriotic tribute to the thoughtful sourcing and handcrafted quality. This blend is for a limited time only. Get yours today. 5% of each bag sold is donated to the Foundation of Sickle Cell Disease Research. That's fscdr.org. And she has a scriptural reference, the founder Stephanie Eves. And that scripture is as follows. It's out of the Christian canon. She is a devout Catholic. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. This is from Psalms 139 and 14. I will post the advertisement for that on our platform. So get you some of that. That sounds good. It's unique. I've never heard of anything like that. I want some. She had me when she said butter. But that concludes everything now, y'all. I think. Let me make sure I told you about the next podcast. Oh yeah. I do have a challenge for you. This is an inner work challenge. Reflect upon 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. That is the famous scripture about unconditional love, which is translated from the Greek as really being charity or sacred service, as I call it. Now, I send y'all love, light, and unity. And until we speak again, y'all live well, but die free.